How's it going, everyone? Sean Tai, the Executive Director of Oakland Digital, here with Linda Pung and some very special guests for Inspirations episode number 2. Introduce yourself, guys.
Hi, I'm Young with GoVoluntr.
And I'm MJ with GoVoluntr.
So what's up? What's GoVoluntr?
GoVoluntr is an online platform that basically encourages people to volunteer.
Okay.
And what we do really well is we make it very easy to find the right volunteer opportunity for you. And then we track the service that you do, and then we gamify the whole process so it's really fun to volunteer. You can start leveling up and getting rewards like volunteer pins, virtual recognition. Actually, I'm wearing a shirt with a volunteer pin on it, so you can get little pins like this.
Yeah.
As you volunteer more and more, you start earning these volunteer pins, and then the really cool thing is that we work with a lot of local businesses to actually populate rewards to reward and incentivize volunteerism. And the more volunteer pins you get, the more free stuff you get.
Just taking it back to the roots, why do people, in your opinion, volunteer?
Yeah, what you want?
It's for a million different reasons. I mean, it can be just to give back. It can be to meet new people, to build your network, to get a new job. I actually started volunteering. It's where I met Young. It was really just to make some new friends in the place where I just started working.
Yeah.
I will say, when I first started volunteering, it was because of curiosity. I used to work at Starbucks and Apple, and I get a ton of different nonprofits asking me for money.
Sure.
At one point, I basically stopped one of them and said, I'll always try to do as much as I can for you, monetarily or donating products or et cetera, but I'm really curious as to what it is you do with this stuff, because from my point of view, I get like 9 or 10 requests a day, and I get to spend maybe a minute on processing it, so I'd love to learn a little bit more. And one of them actually stopped and kind of gave me a run through and said, would you be interested in touring our facilities?
Sure.
And I got invited and learned about how the city works. I think especially the next generation of youth coming in, we're so unaware of how we handle and work with the social services that people don't realize are going on. Like, what do we do with our homeless? What do we do with our underserved? What do we do with our youth? What do we do with our underprivileged? What do we do with our developmentally disabled? A lot of these questions the average American today can't answer because we just don't know. And I think that curiosity led me to volunteer at a lot of different places to just find out like how cities actually run and what drives these social services and nonprofits to basically try to solve these issues that we as normal citizens would probably just overlook, and that's just the way it is every day.
I think it's fantastic the platform Oakland Digital is a part of GoVoluntr. One of the things I would say is young people use the internet for social purposes.
Yeah.
We think connecting with friends, tweeting to the world about the latest cool rap video,
Yeah.
Gaga, spoof or something.
Yeah, Harlem Shakes.
I think it's cool that there are startups that are getting into the space of giving back.
Mm-hmm.
How are you guys different? We were talking a little bit about the rewards and incentives.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how you hope for GoVoluntr to grow and to kind of get recognition?
I think that one of the main differentiators for us compared to a lot of these people trying to solve the same problems is that we're really addressing it thinking about the next generation coming in. So I think there are a lot of great services out there that help people find volunteer opportunities, but one of the big things that we wanted to tackle was initially for ourselves, things that we wanted to see. So immediately I'll tell you right now, I'm part of the Facebook generation, or the digital native as you might call it, or whatever term you want to coin it, but always online, always on my phone, always connected, always love to share in Foursquare and Yelp and all sorts of things. And one of the big things that I realized was that a lot of these nonprofits are not utilizing some of these free services.
Absolutely.
And not tapping into the technology that we're just using day in and day out without even thinking. Like, I don't think about it, I just use it.
Yeah.
And that's such a great touch point for them to really interject themselves into my life, yet I didn't see them doing that. Not necessarily because they didn't want to, but because they didn't know how to. So we're trying to add a lot of these free technologies into the social sector. And one of the main things was to make sure that it was free. So adding social networking, those elements into our platform, adding gamification into our platform. And I will say that, you know, the whole incentive program and the volunteer pins and the gamification, we got a little bit of grief in the beginning. You know, we got some pushback from nonprofits saying, you shouldn't reward volunteers, they should do it because they want to do it. And we absolutely agree, and I think that it becomes to the point where those volunteers will volunteer because they want to, but getting that young person in the door requires a new set of skills. And our belief is that if we can get that young person to volunteer because they want to get a free Starbucks gift card, you know, the first couple of times, then they'll start learning about the cause, meet the people that actually deliver these services, meet the clients, meet the communities, and then they'll be compelled to actually continue to do so because you've engaged them where they normally wouldn't engage.
Yelp event.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the partnership with Yelp?
Absolutely. Yelp was they're having wild successes in basically cultivating their communities.
Right.
And got to the point where they were growing these community events to a very large scale where they're actually having to start closing it off and actually saying no and creating guest lists. And the community managers, Abby and Nikki, wonderful people, also avid volunteers themselves. They have a volunteering background and grew up kind of volunteering. Thought it would be really cool to figure out a way, instead of just saying no to people, to limit it by actually saying volunteer to get in to these awesome Yelp parties. And it was just an amazing thought. And then they reached out to us and said, hey, we'd love to partner with you guys since you guys already have a platform that can actually measure and track it.
Yeah.
And so we were delighted to hear that an organization like Yelp would be interested in doing something like this. So that partnership kind of stemmed from there and that desire. And we had an awesome campaign. In 1 month, we were able to contribute over 1,500 hours of service in our local community. That's just the South and East Bay, and that's our first year. Imagine if we did it again, you know, and how many more people we can get to volunteer. And it's just a really exciting partnership because we know that they're interested in doing things like that and contributing to the community.
What's next, guys?
We're just going around talking and sharing the word of Go Volunteer and trying to get into as many nonprofits and social sectors as possible. We're completely free for the social sector, government entities, and nonprofits. And that's something that's been kind of new to government entities. We've been really popular with government. We didn't realize that governments, like cities, were paying to manage their volunteer structure, upwards of $10,000 to $100,000 a year.
Right.
And we're completely free. We want to do it for free, you know, and use our tax dollars for something else. You know, don't pay to manage your volunteers. So that's been an interesting kind of turn for us to learn that governments are doing that, and that we can fill that need. So what's next is this year is all about corporate partnerships. So we have a corporation that we're going to be partnering with and launching, like we did with the Yelp campaign, pretty much for the next 6 months, one a month for the next 6 months, and hopefully we can actually engage more employees and skilled labor, like you were talking about, especially with here, into the workforce, because gosh, there's so much talent, so much skills, and nonprofits are in so need of it, and they just don't, and I won't say most of them, because you guys are very good at utilizing skill-based volunteers, but in overall, like generally, nonprofits are not good at tapping into the skill-based volunteer network, and they're really good about thinking about traditional volunteers like food pantries, which is also very important.
More labor intensive.
But yeah, just tapping into this mass wealth of skilled labor, you know, so that's really what our goal is to start tapping into these corporations and getting their employees activated in their local communities.
Final thoughts or anything about it you want to share with the Inspirations viewership here?
I think it's just been an amazing experience, and I think we're onto some big new ideas. I'm just really happy to see it all come to fruition.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You guys are doing,
Making an impact in the community. That's what it's about.
Tying it right back together.
Here we go. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the next episode. 3. Peace, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome,
Thank you.
Cool, thank you.